Is NVIDIA's lead unassailable, or can AMD catch up to NVIDIA? I'm Brian, the Finance Ninja. Let's go. Now, NVIDIA stock is at $726.13. Market cap $1.8 trillion. Forward P of 35.59. Actually, it's not bad. AMD stock is sitting at $173.87. Market cap $281 billion. For a forward PE of 53. Oh, and Shama says to like and subscribe. Oh, and also hit the notification bell. Now, I'm going to tell this story from two perspectives. One from NVIDIA and one from AMD. These are the two frontrunners in the AI space. Now, I feel it is always a good idea to understand the companies you invest in, or plan to invest in. Knowledge is not only power, it is money. Before I continue, check out my Patreon. You'll get access to all of my investment reports and valuation spreadsheets. I've got Tesla, I've got NVIDIA, I've got AMD, I've got Microsoft, and many others. You will get exclusive access to my Patreon portfolio. Every transaction I make will be posted on Patreon as it happens. You can follow every move I make in this account. Watch in real time as I grow this into a multi-million-dollar portfolio. You'll never find a better deal. Oh, guess what? There's a 7-day free trial. Don't like my content? Then you get 7 days for free anyway. There is no reason not to join the club. The link is in the description. How to put on our nerd glasses. Don't worry, we can take them off soon enough. Now, NVIDIA's lead in AI all started with CUDA. Are you unfamiliar with CUDA? Well, let's figure it out. Now, welcome to the journey through the fascinating history of NVIDIA CUDA, the groundbreaking parallel computing platform that has revolutionized the world of graphics processing and beyond. Now, our journey begins in 2006 when NVIDIA introduced CUDA, an acronym for Compute Unified Device Architecture. Now, CUDA emerged as a response to the increasing demand for parallel processing power, leveraging the immense capabilities of NVIDIA GPUs. It provided developers with a powerful framework to tap into the parallel processing prowess of GPUs, unlocking a new realm of computing possibilities. Now, the years following CUDA's inception witnessed a surge in GPU-accelerated applications across various fields, from scientific simulations to multimedia processing. CUDA-enabled GPUs fueled breakthroughs in fields like deep learning, AI, computational physics, and medical imaging, accelerating computations by orders of magnitude. Now, supercomputers like the Titan series, powered by thousands of NVIDIA cores, redefine the boundaries of computational performance. As CUDA matured, NVIDIA continued to innovate, introducing advanced features like unified memory and dynamic parallelism, further enhancing developer productivity. Now, the CUDA ecosystem expanded beyond traditional graphics applications, embracing emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and autonomous vehicles. Now, today, CUDA plays a pivotal role in AI research and deployment, enabling the training and inference of complex neural networks at unprecedented speeds. As the Gamer Mag article states, CUDA is a parallel computing platform, but also an application programming interface. So it is hardware and software. It was designed by NVIDIA specifically to allow software developers to have better control over the physical resources at their disposal. Now, a computer programmer coding in C or C++ now has a great deal of control over resource allocation. The CUDA system has boosted the popularity and usage of frameworks like OpenACC and OpenCL. If you're not sure what those are, you can look them up. Now, it's interesting to note that due to the crazy flexibility of the CUDA API, multiple companies have used it for something other than PC gaming. In fact, its possible uses are truly something else. Some of these include tasks such as computational chemistry, machine learning, data science, bioinformatics, computational fluid dynamics, and weather and climate applications. Now, CUDA cores are also parallel processors that allow data to be worked on simultaneously by different processors. Now, this is similar to a dual-core or a quad-core CPU, except that there are thousands of CUDA cores. Now, developers can develop on CUDA directly, or they can use a variety of third-party tools. Most, if not all of which, have CUDA compatibility in order to speed up computations and enable you to train and run larger and more complex models. Now, early AI developers were developing for CUDA in one way or another. This gave NVIDIA the early jumpstart it needed to get the ball rolling in their favor. NVIDIA also invested in several AI startups, which I'll discuss in another video. The A100 and later the H100 became the de facto chips for AI operations, both for training and inference. Now, Tesla used NVIDIA GPUs inside of their cars to run early versions of Autopilot and FSD, before changing to their own hardware. While not used in Tesla cars anymore, Tesla is purchasing hundreds of thousands of H100 GPUs to train FSD's neural network. But what really got the ball rolling in the consumer's mindset was OpenAI's ChatGPT, or as some call ChatGPT. Now, this made both consumers and businesses realize AI is here, AI is the future, AI is going to change the world. Getting on to financials for a bit. Now, startups and established companies just ran towards AI like you would never believe. You can see the magnificent results in NVIDIA's third quarter slideshow. $14.5 billion in the last reported quarter. Just amazing. Now, estimates are that NVIDIA has anywhere between 80 and 95% market share in the AI space. Can NVIDIA keep this lead? Can AMD catch up? There is no denying that AMD is the perennial second place runner basically throughout their history. Actually, back up a little bit. That doesn't always have to be the case, however. Now, when Sue was promoted into AMD's top job in 2014, analysts were calling the company uninvestable with $2.2 billion in debt. AMD stock traded for $2 a share. AMD was nearly bankrupt. Some of its prized assets were already being sold for parts. Its fabrication plant, where chips are baked, fabs, was spun off in 2009, a blow to AMD co-founder Jerry Sanders' infamous boast that real men have fabs. It even had to sell and lease back its corporate campus in Austin, Texas, Sue's current base, in 2013. More troubling, AMD was struggling to execute. It just couldn't hit product deadlines, and Intel dominated all but the bargain end of the laptop market, with NVIDIA, Qualcomm, and Samsung carving up the new smartphone business. Quote, "Our technology just wasn't competitive at the time," end quote, Su admits. AMD hadn't always been such a headache for investors. Sanders broke into the microprocessor business, making chips for IBM in the early 1980s. But things started to change in the late 90s and early 2000s. AMD, which had been, as I mentioned, a perennial second runner, began generating record profits by building its own processors that beat Intel's on speed. However, by 2014, those glory days were long gone. As were about a quarter of AMD's staff. Sacked by Su's predecessor, Rory Reed, Sanders stepped down as CEO in 2002. Now, AMD had once commanded about a quarter of the now $24 billion server chip market. This article was about a year ago, so $24 billion then. But its share dwindled to 2% in 2014. On her second day as CEO, Su stepped up to the microphone during an all-hands call with a message for AMD's demoralized employees. Quote, "I believe we can build the best," end quote. She remembers telling her staff, quote, "You might think that was obvious, but it wasn't to the company at the time," end quote. Okay, so moving on, it takes about 5 years to design and develop a new chip, basically from concept to production. Now put yourself in Lisa Su's shoes. You have a choice. You have one shot. If this fails, AMD goes bankrupt and you're done. You can either 1. Fight Intel and create a next generation CPU for desktop and server, or 2. Fight NVidia and create a next generation GPU. AMD obviously chose to fight Intel, and given Intel's struggles before and after that decision, it was the right choice. AMD put the resources and their single last shot behind Zen, which would become Ryzen for client and EPYC for servers. AMD's market share in CPUs crossed 31%, which is an all-time high, with 23% in servers. That's quite the comeback. With 2023 net income clocking in at $4.3 billion non-GAAP. AMD is expecting $3.5 billion in AI sales in 2024. NVIDIA, however, did $14 billion in the last reported quarter. AMD has a lot of catching up to do. Now, while NVIDIA has CUDA, AMD has ROCm. Now, ROCm is a newer technology stack compared to CUDA. The support isn't as high. ROCm isn't as ingrained as CUDA, not nearly. It doesn't have the same ecosystem since it's a newer software stack. So to combat CUDA, AMD is leaning more on third-party adoption. Applications like PyTorch or Hugging Face have full AMD support and are cross-platform. Now, the expectation is that most major machine learning tools will support both NVIDIA and AMD going forward, so businesses can easily take their models back and forth between GPU architectures and not have to change anything. That's what AMD's betting on. So going back to what I said before, chips take 5 years to design, meaning AMD's MI300 started its design around 5 years ago, give or take. You have to take into consideration where AMD was at 5 years ago to understand their decisions regarding this product and their reasoning. As you can see, so the MI300 launched late 2013, so we have to go back to 2018. 2018 is the year that AMD finally became profitable for good. After 15 years of near continuous losses, AMD is finally on the right track. However, things are still shaky. one false move could still doom the company. AMD was not a sure bet yet. This is why the MI300 is a year late and focuses only on inference, and also why AMD lacks a training chip. Now, NVIDIA, on the other hand, in 2018 was extremely profitable and had been for many, many years. NVIDIA had $1 billion more in R&D spend than AMD and $4 billion net income to boot. Now, NVIDIA had the ability to invest in the future more so than AMD, and NVIDIA did. AMD still had to make the safe bets at the time. Now, since then, however, AMD has become a juggernaut of its own. Sustainable profitability and a much increased R&D budget, AMD is locked and loaded. AMD will release training and inference GPUs soon, on top of its MI300, which is, an inference chip. However, due to NVIDIA's CUDA software ecosystem, early adoption, and current market domination at around 90 to 95% market share, I just don't see NVIDIA being dethroned. Jensen Huang is a fierce competitor, and he wouldn't let this lead slip away. Now that's it. A strong number 2 will reap AMD billions upon billions upon billions of dollars as AI ramps up. Now just throwing out a random number, assuming if AMD can claw its way to, I don't know, 20%, 25% market share in AI, based on Lisa Su's $400 billion TAM suggestion estimate in 2027, that would be about $100 billion in revenues for AMD, which itself is more than 4 times its revenues in the trailing 12 months. As for NVIDIA, if they can retain 75% market share by 2027 off of the $400 billion TAM estimate, NVIDIA would have revenues that would rival Apple's today. Given Apple has a market cap of $3 trillion, then don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.